everyone, this is Larry with Today I Feel Like. Today we're going to take a look at the Insta360 Ace and compare it to the GoPro Hero 11 Black. We're going to talk about audio quality of the built-in microphones, overall image quality, image stabilization, and camera design and usability. So let's jump into it. We have a lot to get into, so here we go. All right, the first thing that I want to talk about is audio, and it is snowing and probably a bit windy outside, so it's going to be a good test for some of these microphones to see how they perform. Now, I'm inside here in my studio and I'm filming, and I'm just using the built-in microphones. The cameras are really close, so they should be picking up the audio very well. Although there's probably some echo because, well, I'm using the built-in microphones, and that happens sometimes in here with built-in microphones. But I just want to give you a quick sample of how they sound with the GoPro versus the Insta360 Ace, or the Insta360 Ace versus the GoPro, so you can get an idea of how they sound. So I'm just rambling on a little bit so you can get some audio samples, but let's take both of these cameras outside so that we can actually listen to them and see how they hold up against the elements. All right, well, here we are outside, and I'm using the built-in microphones for both cameras, and we can take a listen to see how, for instance, the Insta360 Ace sounds versus how the GoPro Hero 11 Black sounds. Now, one thing that I recognized right away when I was going through some of the settings is that on the Insta360 Ace, with just the camera alone, you do have some good audio options as far as you can go from stereo to directional and wind reduction mode on there. With the GoPro, I didn't find that there was any real options unless you have the media mod on. So right now I have the Ace on the Insta360 Ace on directional, but I'm going to go ahead and turn on wind reduction and see if that makes any difference, if we're getting any wind noise right now. Okay, now I'm filming and I have the wind reduction on the Insta360 Ace, and my GoPro is set just like it was before. There's definitely wind out here because I can feel it blowing on me. So I'm really curious to know how this wind reduction is holding up. So I'm gonna have to listen to it in post as I edit this and get a good idea. But as we switch back and forth, you can hear the difference between the two, and you can decide if one is working better for you than the other. Now, if you're doing something where you're moving quickly, like maybe some mountain biking or, you know, skateboarding or surfing or something where you're gonna have a lot of wind noise, then I don't know what to tell you because I don't really do those sports, so it's hard for me to give you an idea of how one of these cameras will perform. But in a vlogging situation, I think you can tell right now how the Insta360 Ace versus the GoPro is working out with the wind noise, with the wind reduction in the built-in microphones. Now, this is not the most comfortable day to be out filming, but I can say this, is that as far as checking for image quality, this is a pretty nice day to shoot because it's snowy and it's a very high contrast day in a lot of ways. Now, the sky is pretty gray and glim, but the snow all around me is pure white. I'm pretty dark skinned, so these cameras might have a tough time with exposing. Now, one thing that's really interesting about the Insta360 Ace is that there is a box that goes around your face. You can actually see it on the screen, and that is a mode that they have where it actually exposes for your face. Now, it's not focusing on you. It looks like a focus box, but it's really a metering box. So if you're out and you want to make sure that if you're vlogging, you want to make sure that the camera is metering for you and not over for the overall scene, then you have that option, and it's fantastic. So yeah, anyways, right now this is what it kind of looks like in the snow here all around me. It's yeah, it's been snowing all night and pretty much all day today, and there's plenty of it. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. Now, both of these cameras shoot in pretty high resolution video. With the GoPro, you get 5.3K, and with the Insta360 Ace, you're going to get 6K. So both of them are going to have really high res video, and I think both of them look really nice, but you have to tell me which one you think actually looks better.
So the Insta360 Ace shoots very cool, and when we look at them side by side, we can see how warm the GoPro actually exposes. In fact, the GoPro shoots so warm it almost looks muddy, and the white of the snow doesn't look really white anymore. Whereas when we look at them side by side again, we can see that the Insta360 Ace looks very natural because that's how the scene actually looked.
Now the next thing I want to talk about is image stabilization, and just walking, we've already been able to see some of it, but I'm going to go ahead and run a little bit if I can without falling and breaking my back in this snow. But I'm going to run a little bit and see how the image stabilization actually holds up. So let me go ahead and just, actually I'm just going to run just like this, and I'm just hand holding it, and we'll see what it looks like as far as each camera is concerned, if I'm actually getting good image stabilization. This isn't really an extreme test, so I don't think it's gonna have, either camera's gonna have much of a problem, but we'll see how it looks. Now, both of these cameras have great image stabilization built in. With the GoPro, we have, what is it called? Now, I don't remember what GoPro's image stabilization is called. I know Insta360's it's called flow state, and both of them are really great. They perform really, really well. I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed with either camera when it comes to image stabilization. Now, lastly, let's talk about usability and camera design. And I will say there are some really, really nice features with both cameras. I really love, first off, the 2.4-inch flip-up screen of the Insta360 Ace. It is fantastic. It really makes it easy to see the shot that you're gonna have, to be able to compose yourself if you're vlogging, to make sure you stay in frame, and because it's the same screen that you use on the back as you use in the front when you flip it up. It's a touch screen, so you can change all of your settings and do everything from the front of the camera just as you would from the back. Whereas with the GoPro, you have sort of that postage stamp size front screen, which does allow you to see your shot and compose it, and you can see your settings, but it's not touchscreen, so you can't actually change any of the settings. You're going to have to actually change those from the back, which can be a pain. In fact, it was already a pain today when I was trying to make some changes once I had the camera set up on this little rig right here. Now, there is a major usability problem with the Insta360 Ace that I didn't realize until I came out here to start shooting, and that is if you have polarized sunglasses on, you cannot see the screen. It's like the screen just disappears and goes black when you have polarized sunglasses on. Now, if you're somebody who's skiing, or you happen to be skateboarding or mountain biking or maybe surfing, and you have sunglasses on so that you don't fry your retinas out in the bright sunlight, that could be a very, very big problem, a major problem for you. And for some people, that might be a deal breaker. So that's something to consider. It's an issue for me. It's been an issue for me with other cameras and smartphones that have that problem. So just something to keep in mind when you're doing that. Now, one last thing that I really love about the Insta360 Ace is that it has a magnetic quick release mounting system. Now, I love that quick release mounting system because it makes it so easy to take the camera off of one mount and put it on another. The only thing is you have to have enough of those quick release mounts so that it actually makes a difference. Unfortunately, they only shipped with one in the box, and so you kind of still end up having to take the camera off off of the action camera fingers mount and swap them out instead of just being able to swap out the camera. But if you plan on buying more of those magnetic mounts, then you're good to go and it'll work out nicely for you. All right, everyone, well, there you go. That is my look and comparison at the Insta360 Ace versus the GoPro Hero 11 Black. I think both of these are fantastic cameras that produce really, really wonderful images. You're gonna get them both for about the same price. They're really around $350. Sometimes you may get them for a little bit more. Sometimes you may get them for a little bit less, just depending on where you go to buy it and when you go to buy it, if there's any sales or specials or discounts that are going on at that time. Now, I will say that if I have to choose which camera I would take and use, it really depends on how I'm going to shoot my camera. Now, if I'm doing something that's gonna be in bright sunlight and I'm gonna be wearing glasses, especially polarized lenses, then I'm gonna take my GoPro with me. Now, if I'm doing some casual vlogging and I'm not so much worried about that, then I'm gonna take the Insta360 Ace because I really love the image that comes out of this camera. I love the way it exposes for me. I love the big 2.4-inch screen. All of that is absolutely wonderful. But if I'm doing something, again, where I'm using polarized lenses like mountain biking or windsurfing or skiing, I think the GoPro is what I would take with me that day. So I know not everyone has the option to have both of these cameras and you're gonna wanna choose one over the other. You just have to decide how you would normally use your camera most of the time. I'm lucky to have both of them, so I don't have to make that decision. But if you do a lot of action sports or wear polarized sunglasses all the time, then you may have issue with the Insta360 Ace. But if you are more concerned with better image quality, more natural exposure, and the sunglasses thing is not a problem, then you're gonna be interested in the Insta360 Ace. So there you go. All right, I'm gonna leave links to both of them down below in the video description so that you can check them out. I'm also gonna leave links to my Amazon page and my social media contacts so you can reach me elsewhere. And I hope you enjoyed seeing this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel and follow me on Instagram. And I am Larry with Today I Feel Like. Thanks for coming back to see me. Come back and see me soon. And until next time, love, peace, and hair grease. Peace.